Legumes and legume poisoning. Gotta love a legume. Legumes are the plants, seeds, and fruit of plants in the family Fabaceae or Leguminosae. Legume seeds used as a grain for human food are sometimes called pulses. Legumes include soybeans, kidney beans, green beans, chickpeas, peanuts, lentils, lupins, mesquite, carob, tamarind, alfalfa, and clover. Legumes are nutritious and an excellent source of plant-based protein, making them ideal in areas where meat and dairy foods aren't accessible. Humans have been eating wild pulses for 70,000 years and cultivating legumes since the 7th millennium BC. Famous legume-containing dishes include dal from India, falafel from the Middle East, kuli kuli from West Africa, laping from Tibet, minestrone from Italy, peas pudding from Britain, refried beans from Mexico, and succotash from the USA. As well as being important for human food, legumes are used for forage and animal raising, with alfalfa, clover, and other legumes sown in pasture to be grazed by livestock. By the way, did you know most legumes are nitrogen-fixing plants due to the presence of rhizobia bacteria within their roots? The bacteria convert atmospheric nitrogen into ammonium ions, making it available to plants, a form of natural fertilizer. Despite being nutritious and an environmentally friendly source of protein, legumes have a couple of red flags when it comes to food safety. The first is phytohemagglutinin, a flavourless natural toxin found in most raw beans and pulses. And stay tuned for today's Just for Fun for a first-person account of a phytohemagglutinin poisoning event. Phytohemagglutinin is a flavourless toxin found in most raw beans and pulses. Red kidney beans, Phaseolus vulgaris, contain significant amounts and, if not properly cooked, can cause acute symptoms such as abdominal pain, vomiting, and diarrhea from as few as 4 or 5 beans. Other legumes contain lower concentrations of phytohemagglutinin. For example, broad beans, Vicia faba, contain just 5 to 10% of the amount of phytohemagglutinin in red kidney beans. Phytohemagglutinin is a protein that can cause mammalian red blood cells to agglutinate and can interfere with metabolism in addition to causing abdominal distress. It also prevents the absorption of minerals from the diet, including calcium, iron, phosphorus, and zinc. It can be destroyed by boiling for at least 10 minutes. Soaking pulses for at least 5 hours in fresh water before cooking is also recommended. Interestingly, multiple sources online say that cooking beans at lower temperatures will not only fail to destroy phytohemagglutinin, but will actually increase its toxicity. And I couldn't actually find the original peer-reviewed source for this, but all other sources are hyperlinked in the email and the post, and there's a link to that in the podcast show notes. Food safety information sheets warn consumers not to cook raw beans in a slow cooker or crock pot, as the cooking temperatures may not be high enough to destroy the toxin. It's also advised to be wary of preparing beans at high altitudes where the boiling point is lower. Additionally, dry heat may not be effective at destroying the toxin. A British family needed urgent medical care due to gastrointestinal symptoms, including vomiting blood, after eating a homemade dish in which dried Greek butter beans were used in place of the traditional dried broad beans in ta'amia or falafel, and shallow fried instead of traditional deep frying. Butter beans have higher quantities of phytohemagglutinin than broad beans. Phytohemagglutinin poisoning is generally not life-threatening, and recovery is usually spontaneous, although hospitalization is occasionally required. All people, regardless of age and gender, are equally susceptible, with the severity of symptoms relating to the dose ingested. Fun fact: Mexican jumping beans are a real thing, though not a real bean and therefore not a legume, making their presence in this article just a teeny bit iffy. The beans are seed pods that hop when warmed due to the presence of a moth larva inside the pod. The jumping is thought to be an evolutionary trait that gives the larvae a better chance of finding shade and thereby surviving on sunny days. Other food safety considerations for legumes. Many leguminous foods contain anti-nutrients, including phytic acid, which interrupts vitamin D metabolism and thereby affects bone growth. Phytic acid survives the cooking process in common beans and soybeans. The anti-nutrient soybean agglutinin is found in soybeans. It chelates minerals such as iron and zinc, and so affects the body's ability to absorb them from food. It's moderately heat stable, with 20 minutes of boiling reportedly leaving residual activity of 47 to 77%. Soybean agglutinin has been accused of inducing inflammatory reactions, but the evidence is complicated, with it appearing able to induce local inflammation, but also exhibiting anti-inflammatory effects when present in circulating blood. Allergies to peanuts and soybean, both legumes, are among the most common and most severe food allergies. There can be co-sensitivities and co-allergies between legumes, with common patterns of clinical cross-reactivity being peanut and lupin, peanut and soy, and chickpea and lentil. Finally, not really a food safety thing, but I just had to mention it, flatulence. Pulses are rich in oligosaccharides, which are digested by bacteria in the human gut, producing gases including methane, which are released as flatulence. Takeaways for food professionals. Soak and cook pulses or beans thoroughly by boiling for at least 10 minutes in fresh water to remove phytohemagglutinin. Slow cooking and dry cooking should be avoided. Canned beans are safe to consume without further cooking. Be aware of the presence of anti-nutrients, including phytates and soybean agglutinin in pulses and soybeans. Within allergen programs, be aware of possible cross-reactivity between legumes, including peanut and lupin, peanut and soy, and chickpea and lentil. And finally, watch out for the farts.